Hello! Today we did some odds and ends on our Camaro. Then we ran the engine for a little bit. If that sounds like a fun video, stick around. Before we can get to the fun stuff, there are a few other more mundane projects we had to take care of today. First on the list is the old work truck, which, given the ambient air temperature currently, desperately needs some working AC. We did some leak detection, charged up the system, and ran into a big issue, but more on that later. Next up, we need to do something about our roof situation in the shop. Fix might be a strong word, but I'm tired of constantly hitting my head on the tarp that's sagging from the roof, so we'll fix that part at least. Last, and arguably most importantly, we get to make some big steps towards driving the Camaro. Now that it's running, the next step is obviously burnouts. We installed a complete cooling system, plugged some holes in the engine, and started testing the charging system. Now that you know the plan for the video, let's get started. We're replacing this sensor right here. This is one that's calibrated for 134A. Pretty sure the one in the car right now is calibrated for R12, which you can't even buy anymore. All right, got our snap ring out of there. Now we gotta pull the sensor out, hopefully without breaking it. It's moving. Not coming out yet though, and it broke. Broke again, that one hurt. And it's out. Now we have to get that O-ring out of there. I'll show you what we're looking at here. Okay, there we go, that's the hole it goes in. You can kind of see there's an O-ring inset right there. You get a little pick to get that out. But here's the old sensor. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just calibrated for the wrong pressures. 134A has a different operating pressure than R12. We also need a different pigtail. We don't have a pigtail right now. It doesn't matter because we're going to charge the AC system today. I wanted to change the sensor before we did that, so that all we have to do is just unbypass it and put the sensor in. All right, time for a new O-ring. And luckily there's some compressor oil sitting right here, so we'll lube up the O-ring with that. Slide around in there. And we're going to take our new sensor here. And we're not jamming on in there. And it fits very nicely. And then we're going to take our snap ring pliers and our snap ring here. Get it set up on the tool just so. And then click that thing on the push. That sensor is solid. I think we're good. Now we charge the AC system. All right, we tried to pull a vacuum on it and it didn't work. So we've got a leak somewhere. We're going to try to pressurize the system and see if that will allow us to find said leak. Oh, okay. That's an easy fix. Leaking at the compressor fitting. So we'll take that apart and look at it. And then we'll cry because we don't have the right fittings to fix that. Oh, that fucker's tight. Forget to put an O-ring in there. Let's see if we have more of these somewhere. 100% we got the wrong O-rings. And 100% probably not going to find the other one. Maybe we don't need the other one. We'll try them with this and see what happens. Okay. One more try with the pressure. Okay. This is going to be loud. Not as loud as I thought it would be. Okay, put the vacuum on it. Let's see how we do. Pulling a vacuum, slowly, but it's coming. We're probably not going to get all the way down to 30, but if we get to about 15 or 20, that'll be good enough for me. All right, we got down to about 18 inches of vacuum. We're going to leave it there for about 5 minutes and make sure it's good. I think we're okay. I'm really not too worried about it, but I just want to double check, make sure we're good, and then we'll start throwing refrigerant in. All right, so you don't just want to put refrigerant in it right after you've just been messing with it and you've had it open to the atmosphere. All of the air that goes into that system has contaminants and moisture and bad things in it. That's why I say it's not really the right way to do things, because when you're putting, I'm using a different set of gauges. I'm using this set over here to actually put shop air to the truck to find the leak. And you don't really want to do that because your compressor air is not clean. It's got a bunch of oil and other stuff in it that's just not great. So it's not great for your AC system to do that. You're going to end up with a bunch of stuff in your receiver dryer that you don't want. So this is the as per the usual, the wrong way to do it. The right way to do it the wrong way. All right, been a couple of minutes. It's still 18, 19 pounds. Hasn't gone down at all. So we're good to put refrigerant in it and send it. We have ourselves our refrigerant. This one's almost empty, but we're going to use it first because there's a vacuum on the system. And then these two are full. I think that one's still got a little bit left in there. We're going to go start the truck, turn the AC on, and see if the compressor cycles. Still not coming on for some reason. Check our fuses maybe. 25 amp fuse right there. Is it blown? It is not blown. What have we got here? Okay, nothing there. We have good voltage or good ground or neither. No good voltage. Is that good ground? Is that voltage here? No. Alright, doing some sketchy shit. We're going to jump some sensors here. And then we'll test again here and see if we got power. No power. What the hell? Alright, let's turn the truck off. What's going on here? Do we have voltage here? We have battery voltage. We have nothing. Is this pin... Oh, the wire's broke. That'll do it. No big deal. Easy fix. Need a crimp fitting and a heat shrink. We found that we had a broken wire. Basically, the system's really simple. It's got a low pressure cycling switch that will turn off when the pressure is too low. And then it's got a high pressure safety switch which will disable the system if the pressure is way too high. Basically, the power for the compressor flows through both of the switches. And so both of them have to be in an okay position in order for it to actually run the AC. I think the low pressure switch is fine. The problem is that the wire just happens to be coming apart. And we've done a repair on this wire already before, but I guess it wasn't a very good one. It's probably on the side of a road in an auto zone somewhere. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. We did this one right. We got the right crimps, got the right heat shrink. Good to go. And the clutch just engaged. Ow, shit. Don't walk into the wall, dumbass. And I think our compressor just died. Yep. She's cooked, chat. Oh, at least we spent $45 on refrigerant that we can't use. Alright, we're done for right now. It's nap time. We'll be back later to figure out what we're going to do next. Alright, an hour and a half later, we came back. We have another compressor. It's remanufactured. We'll see. We did have to switch our sensor over. The new one just came with a plug, so we had to pull that out and put our sensor in there, but that's okay. And then we loaded it up with a little bit of oil, a little PAG oil in there, and spun the compressor around a little bit. So we're going to throw it in the car and see if it works. Alright. So if you're trying to take these out, it's kind of late for that on this one, but I forgot to record me removing the compressor. So there is a flat spot on these bolts. If you look at a little flange, there's a flat spot. With that flat spot to ride right where the clutch is. Otherwise, you will literally never get the bolts out. So, this little tipperoo there. And they also have there's a tab. I can show you the tab here in just a second. Where the head of the bolt goes. So you don't even have to worry about holding it with a wrench. It'll hold itself. So you can see the tab right there. Where the head of the socket sits in. There's one on this side too. So you don't even have to hold those with a wrench at all. Just put the nut on the back side and tighten them down. No clue where I put my ratchet. I think it's just gone. Oh, it's right here. Durr. Okay. All right, put the belt back on and we'll vacuum test it again. That's the wrong port. Helps if you hook it on the right port. And just slowly drawing a vacuum. Okay, we got to about 18 pounds, or 18 inches rather, of vacuum. About the same as what we got last time, so we'll give it a couple minutes and make sure it stays. All right, been a couple minutes. Looks good to me. Time for a bit of a road test. We'll see how it does on the road. All right, truck's AC is fixed. The next project is we're going to try to deal with this situation. Now we're not going to deal with it properly. I'm actually going to fix it, but we're going to put a new tarp up. One that's a little bit thicker and one that's the proper size, so we don't have this mess going on. So first thing we got to do is we got to take this down. All right, it is now late afternoon, early evening. We've had many fiascos today, requiring immediate attention. All right, time for some fun stuff. We get to work on the Camaro. Now, our radiator's been sitting in our shop with no hoses on it, no plugs on it, empty, for about 6 months at this point. So it's probably full of spiders. Even better, before it was sitting in our shop untouched, it was sitting in our parts car in some poor guy's garage for who knows how long. So we're gonna flush it out with some hose water before we install it. Now that we've got the insides all flushed out and shiny clean again, we'll get it dropped in the car properly, and getting it lined up with the little rubber bushings on the bottom that are 47 million years old is not as easy as it looks. Once we get it put in the car properly, we're going to install our upper fan shroud / radiator securer / cover piece / belt diagram. And then the fan itself. I have no idea if the fan actually works, but for now it just makes us feel better about life to have it in there. Another fun thing to note is that every bolt and nut I'm using from this came off of one of the 2 Camaros that I have, but I did not keep them organized, so I had to dig through my massive pile of nuts and bolts and parts and things and try to mix and match everything together. So it'll all work, it's just very tedious and time consuming. The next thing we're going to install is our thermostat housing and the thermostat. I did have an old housing I could have used, but this one has 2 extra ports on the top for either hose barbs to put like a heater hose to, or for temperature sensors. At some point the intake's going to change, so I want to make sure I actually have a fitting for the heater hose if I need one, and it's nice to have an extra spot for a coolant temp sensor, just if I want to have the fans run on a different sensor than the engine uses. More options, more gooderist. Now we move on to installing our radiator hoses. They are a very tight fit. I looked it up for a correct year Camaro with a 305, and I assumed it would all fit. They did all fit. They're just really, really tight. I don't know if it's a problem. We'll find out later. We threw some water in the system, and at this moment figured out that there are two massive ports in both of the cylinder heads that we don't have any plugs in. So we need to fix that. One Lowe's trip later, we are now installing our previously missing pipe plugs. One of them was really kind of hard to get to, so we had to raise the car up to get to it from below the car. We now have a completely sealed, watertight cooling system, which is a very important quality of a properly functioning cooling system. I don't know why, but for some reason I recorded this portion of the footage in slow motion, so you get to now enjoy watching me pour water all over the engine bay in glorious slow motion. Isn't it beautiful? Now, logically, that we've put water in the cooling system, it only makes sense to wait until after we do that to put the hose clamps on the hoses. So that's what we're doing here. We've got 4 hose clamps to put on. Yeah. We don't do things in order around here. We make things as hard as physically possible. That's why you keep coming back. Anyway, we filled up the carburetor with some fresh fuel and cranked on it and got it to run a little bit. So enjoy that. Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think it's just running out of fuel. Yeah, she's just thirsty.
Pump as much as you can.
I am. Alright, go ahead.
Up and down.
Go ahead, dude. It runs pretty fucking well, dude. It idles really high. Alright, well there we go. We got our hose clamps in for our radiator hoses. Got ourselves a cheesy bypass for our heater hose situation. We don't have a radiator cap right now, but it runs, it turns on, everything seems happy. Didn't test the power steering, but we do know the alternator does not work, which is fantastic. It could be a wiring issue, 100%. We won't necessarily rule the alternator itself out. But, yeah. Next week, we're going to clean the shop, and then we're going to put the exhaust on and fix the clutch. And then, I guess we'll start working on the wiring and the fuel system and everything else. But that is all for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.